Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. I'm so glad to have you here. First of all, I want to say happy Mother's Day to everybody out there in the audience. I assume you either are a mother or you have a mother. So happy Mother's Day to you and yours. We're going to get right into it today. This is a tragic story that I came across just recently, but it's very inspiring, at least to me. So I'm going to talk about Judy Malinowski. Judy Malinowski's story, it doesn't begin when she was attacked, but she had a long, maybe not as long as it should have been, but she had a long life before she was attacked, and it was cut short by an evil, evil person named Michael. We're going to tell you all about Michael as well. Oh, good. One of my monitors just went out. Perfect. Well, it would not be a KDZ live stream without some sort of tech issues, would it now? can fix it. Hold, please. Let me play you a little video while I fix this. Silly issues with my monitor just randomly stopping working while I'm live. Man, couldn't have happened at a better time, could it? It's thinking about restarting. Okay. Move that to that monitor. The monitor with all of the tabs that I was going to show you is the one that died. So I'm going to play you something that I had queued up for later, but we're going to play it now, and it gives me 1 minute and 17 seconds to try to figure this out. We'll see if we can do it in 1 minute 17, guys. Real quick before we do this, Judy's boyfriend, and her got into an argument, and he decided it'd be a great idea to retaliate against her by doing this, what I'm about to show you.
The video you're about to see is disturbing. In 2015, the mother of two was at a gas station with her boyfriend when they got into an argument. The couple had a history of fighting, and on this day, the boyfriend, Michael Slager, doused Judy with gasoline. Surveillance video and 911 calls captured the sickening scene that followed.
Okay, stop screaming because I can't understand you. I got you. I got this woman on fire.
Incredibly, Malinowski survived, but with burns on 90% of her body, she spent months in a coma. Slager agreed to a plea deal for aggravated arson and got 11 years in prison. But Malinowski wanted justice for his actions. She knew she would probably not survive, and that Slager could then potentially be charged with murder. Bonnie Bowes, Judy Malinowski's mother and Judy's advocate. Bonnie, I want to start with you. No one thought your daughter...
We did it, guys. We did it. We're back. Zena's here. Ava as well. Well, I don't know where Ava went. Oh, she's up here on the pillows. There she is. She's peeking out. Don't forget, if you do decide that I'm doing a good job here and want a super chat, both of these doggos will get a milk bone live on air. Very entertaining. Sorry for the tech issues. I got it fixed. I don't know what had happened. So Judy, let's talk about Judy. Lovely young woman. She was born on August 26, 1983, and raised in Columbus, Ohio. When she was a kid, she dreamed of being a school teacher, and most importantly, she really wanted to be a wife and mother. That was her goal. So, when you're a kid and they say, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? Her answer was always, I want to be a teacher and a mom. A teacher and a mom. Well, she did achieve 2 of those goals. She did get married when she was pretty young when she got married. And that marriage didn't work out, but she did get 2 beautiful children out of that marriage. After high school, she married and had 2 daughters, Kaylin and Madison. And I saw some interviews in a documentary that I watched about this case with Kaylin and Madison, and they're beautiful young ladies, and they're so strong to have to witness their mom go through this. Judy was also a pageant winner named Miss New Albany. She was beautiful inside and out. After high school, after she separated from her first husband, she ended up at the age of 27 years old getting diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She beat that diagnosis once, and but she was told that the cancer returned in 2006, and she had to do a full hysterectomy. So the whole thing. They're just not cooperating today. Just not cooperating. Nothing's going correctly. Let me get my groove back and we'll be fine, right guys? We'll be fine. It'll be fine. So here's where it goes. It takes a little bit of a turn for her. During her recovery from the full hysterectomy, she was prescribed pretty strong pain medication, and she ended up getting addicted to Percocet and Oxycontin. I am not familiar with, you all know that I have a history of drug use, but I went straight from marijuana to heroin. I didn't do the pills in between. So from what I understand about these drugs is that they're very similar to the feeling of heroin. So I could see how once her insurance ran out and she couldn't get the medication anymore, how this could happen. She reached out to her mom for help, though, and she did go to rehab, and she did become clean. This was all going on, this addiction, the first time, she realized, she was very self-aware, and she realized she couldn't take care of her kids. So her mom, Bonnie, stepped in to take care of the kids while she was doing her recovery. And by January of 2015, she was completely clean. She wasn't using anything except she still smoked cigarettes. She regained custody of Kaylin and Madison. But in April of 2015, she started dating Michael Slager. Now, this dude, Judy had known Michael since about 2007. They ran in the same circle of friends, and they had been Facebook friends for a while. So she didn't really know him, but she felt like she knew him. I can kind of understand this. When you're internet friends with somebody, it feels like you know them, but you really don't know them. It just feels like they do, you know them. Just remember, folks, internet friends are not actual friends. These are not your friends. They don't know you. You don't know them. Now, it is possible to meet somebody online and become friends with them. That's happened to me before. But when you're first meeting up in real life with somebody who you know from the internet, be careful. Treat that person as if they're a stranger. She didn't do this. Judy had known Michael, like I said, since 2007. They ran with the same group of, they had acquaintances, friends in common. So in 2015, Michael sent Judy a Facebook message and said, "Wow, you're looking very beautiful these days." And she fell for this hook, line, and sinker. Just reeled her in with that line. And I can kind of understand. She had just finished rehab in January. This was, like I said, in the springtime. So she just finished rehab. She was probably feeling pretty down about herself, right? And he's telling her how pretty she is. So she responded to this message. They started talking regularly on the Facebook Messenger app. At this point, she did not know Michael's criminal history. And boy, howdy, let me tell you about his criminal history. In order, he has had convictions or arrests for... It's a long list. I gotta get ready for this. Theft, domestic violence, menacing, aggravated menacing, making a false police report, domestic violence again, aggravated menacing again, assault, aggravated menacing, domestic violence again, assault, domestic violence, endangering children, that's a new one, domestic violence, another endangering children, and rape, which he had pled down to a sexual battery. So he didn't serve any substantial amount of time for literal rape charges. They just letting him out. Just letting him out of jail. Let's plead that down so we don't have to actually... I just kept letting this guy out of jail. That's a lot of violent charges, by the way. It's not like petty theft or something like that. These are violent charges. Aggravated menacing, domestic violence. How many times did I read that? Like 4 or 5 times? He had a history of dating women who had addiction problems, although he did not use drugs at all. He would use this to his advantage because he was a very controlling person. So he would find some woman who has an addictive personality and reel her in, get her back addicted to drugs if she's not already. And in Judy's case, he got her back addicted to drugs and would supply her the drugs to use that as a control device to control that person's life. So she never went out and bought drugs. He would bring her drugs every day. And then he would use that to his advantage because he would use it as like a punishment. If she was not doing exactly what he said, if she was not sharing her password to her phone, or if she wanted to go out and do something that he didn't want her to do, he would be like, no drugs for you today. And I don't know if you guys know about heroin addiction. So she's like full-blown addicted to heroin at this point. He was buying it for her and feeding it to her. But I don't know how much you guys know about heroin addiction, but it's an actual physical addiction. I know people use that word, oh, I'm addicted to chocolate, or I'm addicted to coffee. Like, if you don't have coffee, you don't get physically ill. You might get a little bit of a headache for a day, but with heroin addiction, you get so sick that it kills people sometimes. They have to wean off of heroin because if you go cold turkey, which I did, by the way, I didn't... Bad idea. Good idea. Not a bad idea that I got off of heroin, obviously. Good idea to get off of heroin, but bad idea the way I did it. I just quit. I was done. I locked myself in a room for a week, and that was it, right? But it did almost kill me. You get violently ill. The stuff is coming out of both ends. You're shaking, you're shivering, you're hot, you're sweating. Think about the worst flu that you've ever had in your life. Usually the flu lasts 24 to 48 hours. Now picture that for a week. That's what it's like. That doesn't even, like, that's not even, I don't even know if that does it justice, right? Long story short, actually long story long, long story long, she was addicted to heroin, and he used that as a tool to control everything that she did, just every little detail of her life. And I know some of you have been in relationships like this because it's very common to be, as a woman, to be in a relationship like that. Thank God and little baby Jesus that I've never been in that situation. It's very easy to fall into that situation, though. It's so easy to fall into that situation. So he would have physically abused her as well. It wasn't just the emotional abuse. The emotional abuse is bad enough, by the way. The emotional abuse is bad enough, but he would physically abuse her. He would hit her. He would push her against walls, all of the usual stuff, choke her, that sort of stuff. And anytime that she called the cops or threatened to call the cops, he would pick up the phone and call the cops first. And the cops were buying this because she was addicted to heroin. And you could tell she looked like she did, and he wasn't. So Over and over and over again, she would call the cops and he would call the cops and he would get out of it, and then she would get beat for calling the cops. At one point, she called an officer that had given her his card and said to this officer, if he finds out that I'm making this phone call, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. If I try to leave, he's going to kill me. Then this officer heard somebody come in the room and she hung up. She disconnected the call. Judy knew at this point the only way to get away from Michael is to get clean. So there's no other way for her to get out of this except to go to rehab. So she agrees to go back to rehab. She ends up going to Parkside Rehabilitation Center in Gahanna, Ohio. And it looks like a lovely place. It does. Let me show you guys. Here we go. The woods at Parkside, and this is the rehab that she ended up going to. It's one of those nice rehabs. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones that they take care of you. They make sure you are having fluids. That's one of the things about coming off of heroin is that you get very dehydrated, and it's horrible. So on the way to rehab, they made a few stops along the way. The first place they stopped is to buy heroin. And I know this is hard for people who don't or who haven't been in this situation to understand, but when you are on your way or when you're about to quit, you want to have one last high. By the way, that last high is never as good as the first one. It's never as good as the first one. That's what they call, I think, chasing the dragon, where it's never, ever going to be as good as that first time. But in your head, it's a mental issue, guys. It's a mental issue. So in your head, you're like, I need to get high one more time. And so he did. He stopped and got her heroin. She used it in the car. And then one of the things they needed to stop and get was cigarettes at the gas station, because she could have cigarettes inside the rehab, but you couldn't bring like a half open pack in for obvious reasons. Like junkies are very sneaky, right? And they will they'll find a way. So they stop at and by they'll find a way, I'm saying that they will take the tobacco out of the cigarettes, put something in there, and then put the tobacco back in and make it look like it's brand new, and there'll be like drugs or whatever inside of the cigarettes. So it had to be unopened packages of cigarettes. So they stop at the Speedway gas station right here to get cigarettes. There it is, the Speedway. Judy and Michael began arguing in the car, just like they always did, right? This arguing back and forth and back and forth. It just never ended with this guy. It just never ended. So they're arguing in the car, and he goes in to get the cigarettes, and she decides to walk away from the car. So she goes behind the gas station. Let's see if this map will let me go behind the gas station. It might. Totally lost track of where I was. There we go. So she's back here behind this gas station. And he comes back out to the car, sees she's gone, and he starts driving out to look for her because she's got to be on foot, right? And he finds her standing behind this gas station smoking a cigarette. Of course, they start arguing again. It's a better angle. They argue for about 5 to 10 minutes, and Michael ends up hitting Judy. There's witnesses to this, by the way. Also, a video. He hits her. She, in turn, she had a styrofoam cup with some sort of drink in it, some sort of pop. and throws it at him, like just all over him, just drenches him in this pop. And this is not like he's not having this. She's finally fighting back. She's going to rehab. She's going to get away from him. She's fighting back, and he cannot have that. He won't have it. So what does he do? He walks around to his truck, the bed of his pickup truck, grabs a full can of gasoline, pours it on her, starting at her head, going all the way down to her feet. He even got some of it in her throat. We'll hear from her later, but she says she could feel it burning in her throat before he lit the lighter. Michael then walks back to his truck, gets a lighter. Judy's unsure if he had the lighter in his pocket or if he got it from the truck, but he did walk back to the truck. He came back to her with a lighter. He bent down and lit Judy on fire. Let's watch that again. I know I played it while my screen was messing up, but we need to see it again. It's just horrible, guys. Hold on, I'm not showing the video. Of course I'm not. That's what I do.
The video you're about to see is disturbing. In 2015, the mother of two was at a gas station with her boyfriend when they got into an argument. The couple had a history of fighting, and on this day, the boyfriend, Michael Slager, doused Judy with gasoline. Surveillance video and 911 calls captured the sickening scene that followed.
Okay, stop screaming because I can't understand you. I got you.
Incredibly, Malinowski survived, but with burns on 90% of her body, she spent months in a coma. Slager agreed to a plea deal for aggravated arson and got 11 years in prison.
Aggravated arson. They pled him down again. They pled it down once again. It's so frustrating that they keep giving this guy plea deals. I don't know if you guys just witnessed what I just witnessed, but what do you think about 11 years for purposely lighting somebody on fire? I think it's ridiculous. I think that that should be life in prison just for that. Even, she survives initially. She survives, right? So the police question Michael at the hospital. They're both in the hospital. He had burned himself a little bit too. Just a smidge. Just a smidge. I hope it hurts so bad. Not enough, obviously. It didn't hurt enough. But the police question him. Okay. I couldn't find the raw footage of this. I looked too. I really looked. Couldn't find it. But I have a little clip of him being questioned. Is this the right clip?
Nurses are looking at you like, do you want to bring this person out of sedation?
Nope, wrong clip. Because of course it is. They're in the wrong order, guys.
We have a story tonight of one
341.
woman's extraordinary.
Gotta go to 341. All right.
Malinowski to the hospital. Let's take a look at that footage because he tried to lie.
Of course he tried to lie. Why wouldn't he try to lie? Well, that's how it's going, I guess.
About what happened. Take a look.
I didn't think I got, there was that, realized it was going to be that. Sure.
Hold on, let me fix this stuff here so it actually works. Let me pause that. Let me put some music on for you guys so I can fix what's going on. I'm looking at my CPU usage and I can see what's happening. Hold, please. Please talk amongst yourself. Actually, tell me in the chat what you think so far. I'd like to know what you think so far of this case. I'll throw that up there while I fix this. I'm so sorry about the issues that, of course, I'm having today. I have issues every day, but today's especially good. Especially good issues. Everything's just flickering. What is up with my computer? I'm not going to give up, though. Never give up. It'll take me just a minute to get this all situated. Okay. Thank you for entertaining yourselves. It happens. Okay. I think we're good. Let me just check this. See, it says that I'm fine. This should be able to play just fine. It's very frustrating because it says it's fine. It's not fine. Okay. Let me refresh.
We have a story tonight of one woman's extraordinary quest for justice after her own boyfriend burned her alive. Look at that footage because he tried to lie about what happened. Take a look.
I didn't think I got, there was that, realized it was going to be that. Sure. So I walked over to give her a light. That was it. And then when she went up, I couldn't believe it. I just didn't think that it was going to be like that.
Okay, Michael's story falls apart right away because the detective says, dude, we've got, surveillance footage showing you dumping gasoline and then 30 seconds later setting...
Yes, so his story is that he dumped gasoline on her because she threw a drink at him. This is his story. She threw a drink on me. She ruined my clothes, so I want to ruin her clothes by pouring gasoline on her. Yes, you heard me correctly. By pouring gasoline on her. Then he says, well, she took her sweatshirt off. So I didn't realize that I had gotten gasoline all over her. But you can clearly see, and not clearly, it's like filmed on a potato or whatever, but you can see on the video footage that he takes his time and he pours it starting at her head. She stumbles backwards, falls down, and then he continues to pour it all the way down, all the way to her feet. So she's got jeans on. She is literally covered. Her hair, everything's covered in gasoline. And he's saying, oh, well, since she took her sweatshirt off, I thought that it would be fine. She wouldn't catch on fire. And she asked me to light a cigarette for her. She asked me to light a cigarette. First of all, that doesn't make any sense because she didn't have any cigarettes. And you can't go into the rehab unless the pack of cigarettes is sealed. So why would she open the pack of cigarettes that she just bought before she got to the rehab? She wouldn't have been able to take them in then. Doesn't make sense at all. She wouldn't have done that. There's a witness there. There's a guy across the street, and he says that he saw the whole thing happen, but he was far away. And as soon as he saw Michael lean over and light her on fire, he started running over towards them. But in the meantime, it took him about a minute to get there from, across the street, or, 45 seconds or whatever. But what this witness says he saw happen is him pour gasoline on her, walk away back to his truck, come back, lean down, set her on fire, and then stand there. He stood there and watched her burn for at least 30 seconds. He just stood there. The witness says that once he started yelling and coming over and trying to extinguish the flames that were burning Judy's skin, that's when Michael got a fire extinguisher from his truck and put her out. He had a fire extinguisher in his truck, but he waited for 30 seconds and just watched her burn, just stared at her, burning alive. There's no audio on the footage. Thank God there's no audio. I've heard recently there's been two people who have set themselves on fire, both in New York City, I believe. And the sounds that came from that are horrible, to say the least. I'm very glad that there's no audio of that. Michael Slager was charged with aggravated arson, felonious assault, and possession of criminal tools. He leaned over and set her on fire, and he's charged with arson. That's the same charge you would get if you set somebody's car on fire. He set a human being on fire. He pled not guilty to all of these charges. He pled not guilty. In the meantime, though, so he makes his plea. He gets charged. They ask him, are you guilty? Are you not guilty? Whatever. He pleads not guilty. But the time between him entering his plea and the trial, Judy came out of her coma that she was in. She was in a coma for 8 months after this. Not only did she come out of her coma, she remembered what happened, and she was looking forward to testifying against him. In December of 2016, Michael changed his plea from not guilty to no contest. So he still didn't say, yeah, I did it. He pled no contest. And the reason why he pled no contest is because if there's record of Judy testifying in his arson, I don't know why I'm doing air quotes, it was an arson trial. He was charged with arson and felonious assault, but still. if she's on record in that trial, if she dies, which most likely the doctors knew that she was going to die, they have a formula in the burn unit that they do, and it goes by the person's health, their age, what percentage of their body is burned, things like that. And when they did this formula in Judy's case, her mortality rate was 130%. There was a 130% chance that she was going to die. They couldn't believe, they were astounded that she was still alive. She should have died right away, according to this mortality chart in the burn unit, this formula that they do. She wanted to get him, though, and boy howdy did she get him.
And I'm Ellie Merritt. The Kahana man pleaded no contest to charge.
We're getting there. Nothing else is running, so I don't know what the issue is.
You really do seem like one of those people that have no soul. That's what a Franklin County judge told Michael Slager today during sentencing. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Colleen Marshall.
And I'm Ellie Merritt. The Kahana man pleaded no contest to charges that he intentionally set his ex-girlfriend on fire. New at 5, NBC4's Katie Farrell is live outside the Wexner Medical Center, where that woman is still being hospitalized 15 months later. Katie, it's a miracle she even lived.
Oh my gosh, and she is such a fighter. Hearing from her family today, you know, she's had 51 surgeries, if you can believe it. 33-year-old Judy Malinowski is still hospitalized here behind me. She was supposed to testify against Slager during the trial this week, but in his surprise move today, he pled no contest, and the judge sentenced him to 11 years in jail.
You've done all the things that just really show what a despicable individual you are.
Franklin County Court Judge Julie Lynch not mincing words Monday morning.
And I see your record, so I know you have a history of domestic violence. You have a history of menacing.
Judge Lynch sentenced 41-year-old Michael Slager to 11 years in jail for the attack that happened behind this Kahana gas station. The prosecuting attorney says surveillance video shows Slager dousing mom of two, Judy Malinowski, with gas, then setting her on fire. Her mother, Bonnie Bowes, spoke in court Monday.
Judy has a life sentence, and her children have a life sentence.
Expecting trial to start this week, she was surprised Slager changed his plea.
Judy, I think, wanted to tell her story. She has fought to stay alive to tell her story.
She says her daughter still has a long road ahead after losing her ears, fingers, and fighting countless infections. The judge says Slager has never been sorry.
You really do seem like one of those people that have no soul, and you need to be incarcerated. That's all I have to say. Take him out.
Now, Slager's parents were also in the courtroom today. Coming up at 6, what they told me and what Slager himself said in a letter sent to NBC4. Live in Columbus, Katie Farrell, NBC4.
Thanks.
Let me switch that around. Thank you so much, Quest Fanning, for the super chat. I appreciate you very much, Quest. Thanks for stopping by. Tell Kate happy Mother's Day from me. Beautiful Kate. Let's wake up Xena. We need a little, this came at the perfect time, Quest, because it was getting a little heavy. And we needed a little super chat doggy milk bone break. You guys let Quest know in the chat how much you guys appreciate him as much as I do, because we really truly did need we needed a puppy break for sure. Xena, I have something to tell you. Xena? Hi, good morning. Do you want a cookie? Xena? Maybe she doesn't want one. Can you catch? Oh, ready? Xena, sit up. What are you doing? Sit up. Sit up. Sit up. Sit up. Sit up. Sit. There we go. Thank you, Quest Fanning. Ava, shake. Shake. Xena, shake. Good girls. All right. Let's play a game, number 2. We're going to see if they can catch. We started this game on Friday, and I think we're even right now. We did double or nothing. If they miss, remind me again, number 2. If they miss, you win. If they catch it, I win. Is that correct? All right. Anyway, number 2, keep score. Xena, you're first. She got it. She got it, guys. Ava got it too. So wait, I'm winning now. They both caught it. Okay, back to the story. Actually, while we're paused, we'll do the ad, and then we'll get to the rest of the trial, right? We really did need that. We really did need that super chat break. It was getting a little heavy. So this program is brought to you today by nobody except for me. Nobody else sponsored this show. It's not good. I don't know why you guys are here. I'm kidding. I know why you guys are here. I know exactly why you guys are here. This is why you guys are here, for Ava and Xena. But in the off chance you're actually here for me, I would like to invite you to take a look at katiez.com. Or donate directly like Quest did. You can do a super chat or a Rumble rant. Rumble actually takes less of a cut than YouTube does. Not that it still doesn't matter. But if you would like to support a charity that I support, it is called onemorechild.org. They provide Christ-centered services to vulnerable children and struggling families. And Iggy Normus and Let's Be Frank and I designed these shirts and mugs for you. And every single penny that comes in as profit from these items in the King collection on katiez.com goes directly to onemorechild.org. At the end of each month, we will make a donation. In April, we raised $138 for this charity. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for buying this stuff. I appreciate it. But it is pretty good looking stuff. If you want to support onemorechild.org, definitely get over there and do that. Or there's a link in the description and also on my channel, like About Me section or whatever, that links directly to them. Donate to them directly. If you'd like to have the Katie Z merchandise, it's over here at katiez.com as well. We have the Crime Land stuff. We have the True Crime with Xena merchandise. These sweatshirts and t-shirts are the very soft kind. They're very nice. Good quality. It is summertime. My husband has this tank top right here. This is his lawn mowing tank top. He has it in the gray, I believe. He has it in the dark gray. He also wears it to work out and lawn mowing. Actually, I think he wears the Xena one to work out, and then the other one to mow the lawn. You can also get Steven's stuff over there at katiez.com if you want to support his channel. It's in the Ignormous section. You can get yourself a sad panda, hat, notebook, all of the things. So that's katiez.com. Please support the show. Back to the regularly scheduled program. Don't forget, you could always do a super chat too. I don't mind. Xena and Ava will like it. Speaking of Xena and Ava, they're not in their spot at all. Not at all. It's just a blank. Xena, get your spot. Thank you. Okay. So he receives a sentence of 11 years. That's it. 11 years. Which I think is ridiculous for setting somebody on fire, right? So, like Judy's mom said, she felt like Judy was silenced again. The prosecution decided to ask the judge, here's where it starts to get interesting, guys. Not that the other story wasn't interesting. It was interesting, too. The prosecution decides to ask the judge if they could do a video recorded deposition and have it on hand so that when or if Judy does pass away, if they could play that in the murder trial, which is unusual because you have to be able to be cross-examined. Sorry, it's still allergy time over here. So if you can't be cross-examined, you can't play it in court. The judge decided, yes, we can do that, but his defense team needs to be there as well so they can do a cross-examination. Judy Malinowski is the first person to testify in her own murder trial. Now, it's been done before in civil cases, never ever in a criminal case, which is what is so interesting about this. Hold on, let me get this shank from Ava that she's making back here. Ava, stop making shanks. Give it to me. Thank you. It's very loud. It's definitely very, very loud. I don't know if you guys could hear it because the mic is directional, but I could hear it and it was distracting. I'm having to pull each tab separate now, so that's why there's a long pause every time. So my apologies for that, but I think it's the only way that I can get this to work.
Own death in the trial of her accused killer. Local story tonight. Judy Malinowski will be allowed to.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
Testify about her own death in the trial of her accused killer, Michael Slager.
Today's judge's ruling makes her the state's first murder victim to testify at her killer's trial.
NBC4's Courtney Yoon joins us live from the courthouse with details on the judge's decision. Courtney?
Ellie, Mark, it's considered to be one of the first times this has ever happened in an Ohio court. Judy Malinowski will be able to tell her story through testimony recorded before she passed away.
Judy fought to tell her story.
Malinowski's mother, Bonnie Bowes, says her daughter suffered 3rd and 4th degree burns covering about 90% of her body. She says she's happy to know Judy's voice will be heard during the trial.
I think it's the first step towards what her legacy should and will be.
Judge Guy Reese says the state argued that Malinowski went through 13 mental status examinations before her deposition was recorded from her hospital bed, showing she was a competent witness. The defense argued the tape deposition violated accused killer Michael Slager's right to confrontation.
Defendant had an opportunity and similar motive to cross-examine her, and indeed that did occur.
Judge Reese says 2/3 of the 86 pages of Malinowski's deposition were cross-examination.
Whether we disagree with it or not is not a big deal. Move forward and keep preparing for the case.
Franklin County Prosecutor Ron O'Brien says despite Malinowski's suffering, having coded 7 times in the hospital, enduring dozens of surgeries, and her fearfulness of Slager, she was still able to tell her story.
Nevertheless, she was able to effectively testify through the deposition, and we look forward to presenting that.
I'm so proud of her, and I know one day I'll see her, although my heart will be forever broken without her.
The trial will begin in July. Local for you at the Franklin County Court of Common Pleas, Courtney Yoon, NBC4.
Courtney, thank you.
Thanks, Courtney. Appreciate that. Oops. Here we go again. I'm really having a rough day today, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm glad there's only 15 people here to witness this. I'll have to do some editing in the post. I'll have to do some post-show editing because it's rough. It's rough. I'm just not feeling good, and nothing's going correctly. So thanks for hanging out with me. Here's the part that I was trying to get to. So she ends up testifying. Listen to this baloney. After the judge says, yes, we can do this recorded deposition, he starts this, I'm just going to say it, bullshit. He starts this bullshit about how he has a right to confront his accuser. He asked to be in the hospital room with them. He wants him and his lawyer in the hospital room. At one point, he asks that if he could be the one to question her. How controlling is that? Remember at the beginning when I was saying he controlled every aspect of her life? He thought that he could silence her by being in the room and intimidating her into not saying what actually happened. The judge didn't allow that. Thank goodness the judge didn't allow that. It was all via Zoom. The door was closed. Nobody else was allowed in the room. Another thing I want to point out is that in order to testify in court, you have to be of sound mind. I don't know if you've ever gotten burned before, like cooking or like a cigarette burn or something, but it is painful. And it's not painful just for a second. It's painful for just all the time. Like with my back issues, it's painful all the time, but if you move a certain way, it hurts or whatever. With burns, it just hurts all the time. So in order for her to be of sound mind, she willingly came off of her pain medication in order to testify. How strong of a person is that? She said, I will testify against him. I will make sure he's convicted of this. Because remember, he grabbed a fire extinguisher. The defense was trying to spin that as if, well, if it was an accident, why did he get the fire extinguisher? There was enough there that I could see a jury finding a little bit of reasonable doubt in there, but she would not let that happen. So she weans herself off of the pain medication and testifies. I can't believe he wanted to be in there with her. What a jerk. Obvious intimidation. All right. This is long, but we're going to get through it together. But I want to watch this with you guys. This is the testimony of Judy Malinowski. This is the testimony that was played at her murder trial against the person, the piece of shit that lit her on fire and stood there for 30 seconds and watched her in agony, just burning. Any second now. Maybe we have to make it small. Here we go.
This is Magistrate Elizabeth Waters. I'm going to swear you in. Could you please raise your right hand to the extent that you possibly can? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as you shall answer to God or under penalty?
I'm putting the chat on screen. If you guys want me to pause and address something, just let me know in the chat, okay?
Of perjury. And thank you. Okay. Counsel, for the plaintiff, could you please make a formal appearance?
Thank you, Your Honor. Warren Edwards, Ron O'Brien, Casey Chapelier, and Barbara Farnbacher for the state of Ohio.
Thank you. And counsel for the defendant? Respondent, excuse me.
Yes. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Bob Krapex on behalf of Michael Slater.
Okay. The magistrate will just note that this is case number 16 CV H12-12189, Franklin County Prosecutor Petitioner versus Michael W. Slager, Respondent. Pursuant to the court's January 25th, 2017 order, this matter is here for the taking of a deposition to perpetuate testimony. The magistrate will also note that the court issued a protective order in the case a little after 2 o'clock yesterday, and that will govern how things go today. Okay. Counsel?
Very good. Thank you.
Counsel, before we begin, I just want to allow each side to deal with any preliminary matters or objections that they need to make to preserve the record before we begin with the deposition. Is there anything on behalf of the petitioner?
I don't believe so. The judge has issued orders, and I think all parties can abide by them.
Thank you. Counsel?
Yeah, please.
And again, you need to push the button when you're talking.
Right.
At the table.
Please note our ongoing objection to this procedure, including any objections to any irregularities, starting with swearing the witness in all the way through the conclusion of her testimony. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Edwards, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Before we proceed, we need to, I need to address something. So I did not have Rumble up because my computer was being wacky, right? So I just want to point out that Waffle Salter over there on Rumble did make a $50 donation. Thank you so much. It says Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. without penny C's. 07 in the chat for Waffle Salter. 07 in the chat. Thank you so much, Waffle Salter. I appreciate you very much. And we are going to get the doggos some treats. You guys tell Waffle Salter how much you like him. By the way, Waffle Salter, you won the drawing last month. Hit me up on Twitter and let me know what size t-shirt you wear. I'd like to know what size t-shirt you wear, Waffle Salter. I need to know. Inquiring minds want to know what size t-shirt Waffle Salter wears. I think I'm going to design you something special. Okay. Hey, Zena. Zena, wake up. Waffle Salter came to visit. He's like Santa Claus for doggos. You ready? Can you catch? Sit up. All right, keep score, number 2. We're going to try to see if they can catch. Hey. Sit up. Sit up. Sit up. I had already put you in the drawing from the first time you donated last month, so it was one of the ones from the first time you donated. But if you don't, I mean, we'll take you out this month. But just tell me what size t-shirt you wear. Just do it, please. Sit up. Sit up. Sit up. 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 Sit. Oh my goodness, they won't even sit. Please sit up. Sit. Come here. Come here. Ready? Zena caught hers. Ava. There we go. Ready? Ava. That was 4 in a row, people. 4 in a row. Should we go for 6? I think we'll go for 6. Oh, she missed that one. Ready? All right, back to the show. Thank you so much, Waffle Salter. I appreciate you very much. All right, a large for Waffle Salter. Write that down. Number 2, take a note, please. Thank you, assistant number 2. Now they're just waiting for more. They're just waiting for more. Well, this is loading. We'll give them one more each. They missed both of those.
And again, you need to push the button when you're talking.
Here we go.
At the table.
Please note our ongoing objection to this procedure, including any objections to any irregularities, starting with swearing the witness in.
Holy cannoli. I gotta shut Rumble down. If anybody, could somebody pay attention to Rumble? Just let me know if somebody donates over there.
What is that photograph of?
My senior picture.
Okay, when you were 18 years old?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to take you back a little bit to when you were 27 years old. Did you have a diagnosis and a surgical procedure when you were 27 years old?
Yes.
And was that for cervical cancer?
Ovarian cancer.
Okay, thank you. And you had some complications as a result of that surgery, correct?
Yes.
And tell me what happened as a result of those complications from the surgery.
I was placed on very strong painkillers, Oxycontin, and Percocet. I got addicted to them. Then when I ran out of insurance and couldn't go back to the doctor to get the medicine, my addiction turned into a heroin addiction.
Okay. And so is it fair to say that you became an addict to illegal drugs?
Yes,
And when did that begin? What age were you?
about 28.
Okay. Is this an addiction that you battled for many years?
Yes.
Okay. I want Tess to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit EE2.
Okay.
Can you tell me what that photograph is?
It's a picture of me and the girls taking them to school on their first day.
Okay. That's your children, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And is this photograph from around Christmas or from 2014, August 2014 then? You said?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you know a man named Michael Slager?
Yes.
And did you begin dating him in April 2015?
Yes.
Okay. I want to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit DD1.
Okay.
Do you recognize the person depicted in that photograph?
Yes, that's Mr. Slager.
Okay, that's the man you started dating in April 2015.
Yes.
Okay. I want to talk to you about Sunday, August 2nd, 2015. Do you recall that day?
August 2nd, 2015. Yes, I do.
Okay. And on that day, were you with Mr. Slager?
Yes.
And where were you with him?
Well, we had went a couple places, but he had took me to Seaway after leaving the rehab center.
Okay. Let's talk about that for a minute. After leaving the rehab center, we're talking about Parkside Drug Rehab?
Yes.
Okay. And it was the plan to check you in there, correct?
Yes.
But you weren't ready to go. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
Did you have some things you wanted to do before you went?
Yes.
Did those things include talking to your children that we saw earlier?
Yes.
And talking to your mother?
Yes.
And how about getting some cigarettes?
Yes.
You smoke cigarettes, correct?
Yes.
At least you
I
did.
used to.
And you smoke a particular brand, correct?
Yes.
What was that brand?
Marlboro Black Reds.
Okay. And you were out of them on August 2nd, 2015, correct?
Yes.
They let you smoke cigarettes in Parkside Rehab?
Yes, they do.
And so you needed to take some with you?
Yes.
So when you were with Mr. Slager, you indicated that the two of you stopped at Speedway. What did you stop there for?
To get cigarettes.
Did both of you go in to get cigarettes? Or did only... Who went in?
He did. We were arguing back and forth. Either one of us were very happy with each other.
Okay. And what did you do when he went in to Speedway to buy cigarettes?
Well, he was extremely upset with me, so I tried to sneak out of the truck and around behind the Speedway building.
Okay, and this is the Speedway at 376 Agler Road, right?
Yes.
So while he went inside, you got out of the truck and went behind that Speedway. There's a bank there, right?
Yes.
And what happened as you stood behind that Speedway?
Mike came in a matter of no time at all around in his truck. He saw me and immediately slammed the truck in the park. got out, demanded that I got into the truck with him, called me all sorts of names. We argued for a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then I threw my pop on him.
You threw a pop on him?
Yes.
Did you splash it on him or actually throw the cup at him?
I threw the cup at him.
Okay, and this cup, was it a hard plastic or paper, or what was it made out of?
I believe it was a styrofoam cup.
Okay. Did the drink get on him?
Yes.
What was his reaction to this?
He was extremely upset.
And what did he do?
He ran around to the other side of his truck, and he got his these cans of gasoline that he had kept in the back of his truck. It was really big and had a lot of gas. He ran around to me and started pouring gasoline, started up my head and worked his way down. Some got in my throat as he did that. That burnt really bad.
The gasoline in your throat burnt really bad?
Yes.
And what happened as a result of having this gasoline poured on you?
He then set me on fire.
Well, let's slow down a little bit. Before that, did you remain standing, or were you standing when he poured the gasoline on you?
No.
When he poured the gasoline on you, were you standing?
No.
Go ahead and tell us how you were when he poured the gasoline on you.
I had fell down and I was leaning on my right side, holding myself with my right arm and hand.
Okay. So did you fall down as a result of that burning sensation from the gasoline?
No.
Okay. What caused you to fall down?
I fell down completely the rest of the way. But I originally had fell down because, he had pushed me. I tripped when I was running from him.
Okay, you tripped?
Yeah.
Okay. When you trip and you're falling and you're laying there holding yourself up on one hand, and he's pouring gasoline on you, what's his demeanor as he's pouring the gasoline on you?
Evil, just completely evil. He's not responding to any of my cries for help. He won't tell me why. He just is like, you want to throw something on somebody, you want to throw crap on me, see what I'll do to you, bitch, and how do you like this, and just all sorts of vulgar names.
Okay. So Judy, was this a joking demeanor? You poured something on me, I'm going to pour something on you, ha ha, isn't this funny?
No, it was an evil demeanor.
Okay. After he poured the gasoline on you, what happens next?
He backed away from me for about 30 seconds, and I kept telling him to please help me and stop, and I'll get the truck, I'll go with you. Why would you do this? And I looked at him, and he pulled a lighter out of his pocket, and he started walking towards me, and I just remember crying and begging for help, and he let me on fire, and the look in his eyes went back, literally, after I was set on fire, and he backed away. His eyes just turned black as I screamed for his help.
Okay.
And he did nothing.
Okay. So this entire time you're asking for help, but did you make up with him in any way during these 30 seconds between him pouring gasoline on you and pulling out the lighter and setting you on fire?
No.
And did you at any time produce a cigarette and ask for a light?
No.
Okay. As a matter of fact, did you have any cigarettes on you?
No.
Okay. Before we get into that being lit on fire, I want you to look at State's Exhibit D28.
Okay.
Do you recognize the items depicted in D28?
Yes.
Okay. Whose items are those?
They're mine.
Is it a bag full of clothing and other items damaged by the fire, personal effects? Okay. I want to direct your attention to what appears to be a cigarette box. Do you recognize that cigarette box?
Is that? Where's the cigarette box? Yes.
Okay. On the right side of the picture?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you D8 as well. Okay? Is that a close-up of that cigarette box?
Yes.
Marlboro Blacks, right?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any cigarettes in that box?
No.
Okay. You didn't have any cigarettes, right? That's why you stopped to buy some.
Right.
Okay. I want to show you State's Exhibit B28.
Okay.
Tell me about what State's Exhibit B28 is.
An empty cigarette pack with a crack pipe in it.
Okay. And whose is that?
That is mine.
Okay. So the only thing in that cigarette pack is your crack pipe. Fair to say? No cigarettes, right?
Right.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit B54.
Okay.
This is a cigarette found at the scene. Is that your cigarette?
No.
Do you have any idea where that cigarette came from?
No.
Okay. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit D15. What is Exhibit D15?
A lighter.
Do you recognize that lighter?
No.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about the lighter that you described Michael using?
I can't remember the exact.
Okay. Don't know what color it was or whether it was a Zippo or a Bic, plastic or metal, anything about it?
I want to say I thought it was a Zippo, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Judy, are you right or left-handed prior to this incident?
I'm right-handed.
Okay. And so when you smoke, which hand do you smoke with?
My right-handed only.
Okay. Could you raise your right hand so that it's up by your face so we can see it? Thank you. Can you raise your left hand, please? Okay. Thank you. Judy, let's talk about the moment that you were set on fire. Did you have a cigarette?
No.
Did you ask for a light?
No.
Did you make up with Michael in any way?
No.
And when he approached you with the lighter, what did he look like?
Like Satan's child.
Did he appear to be angry or like compassionate, like he was making up with you?
He appeared to be full of rage and yet calm at the same time.
Was his approaching you with that lighter accidental? Did he trip or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Judy, tell me how that moment felt when you were ignited.
It felt horrible. I don't think words can describe what it feels like to have your whole body's on fire. I can remember fire out of my face and eyes. I can remember screaming for help. I can remember looking over and seeing him just standing there staring at me with the look in his face that was just, like I keep saying over and over again, pure evil. Like, there's no other words to describe it. My whole body felt like the worst burn you could ever feel in your life.
Okay.
And it stung, and it was like 1,000 needles going in, 1,000 hot needles penetrating my body. I guess that's the best way I can explain it. And I just remember, like I said, begging him to help, pleading for any help, trying to get the fire off of my face, eventually burying my face in the grass and looking around. And then I got to the point where I couldn't see anything and everybody's voices were sounding far away. I could tell there was definitely somebody around, but I couldn't hear him or make it out. I thought for sure I was dying. I just prayed to Jesus to please forgive me for my sins and to take care of my children. And that was it. I blacked out and I don't remember anything until I woke up in the hospital.
And so
That part right there got me when I watched this the first time. She thought she was dying, and her first reaction in 30 seconds was to pray to Jesus to forgive her for her sins. I hope that if I'm ever in a situation like hers, obviously probably not get set on fire, but if I ever see my death coming in a situation like this, I hope that that's my first reaction too. I pray that that's my first reaction.
Can I just make sure if there's something else Mr. Craypants wanted to say with regard to your objection? Anything? No, okay. That's fine.
Judy, so just to be clear, you don't remember who came to your aid?
No.
You don't remember who extinguished you?
No.
You don't remember paramedics or firemen arriving or police officers?
No, unfortunately, I don't.
Okay. The next thing you remember is waking up in the hospital. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's talk about your hospital experience. You've been hospitalized ever since this incident in various hospitals around Columbus, correct?
That's correct.
Do you know how many surgeries you've had?
Over 50.
And you're aware that you have coded 7 times, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me about the pain that you live with?
Objection.
I live with pain every day. I can't tell you or describe how it feels. It's just waking up is a horrible thing because you wake up feeling the same way every day. They say it gets a little better as time goes by, but it's one thing heals, another thing hurts. So I have to push myself to make it through every day. I have to really tell myself why I'm doing this, and I have to just breathe through it. And that's all I can do. It's nothing I would ever wish upon anybody, and it's terrifying to feel this way, and it's terrifying also to be disformed in certain ways. My whole body hurts, my muscles hurt just from stretching. My open wounds hurt and sting and burn when they put the dressings on and try to clean out. It's the worst thing ever. Even water hurts. So there's nothing that's okay about this.
Sorry, Judy.
Okay.
You understand the prognosis is not good, correct?
I know.
But you're fighting against it, right?
Yes.
I don't believe I have any other questions for the witness. I think Mr. Craypants may have some questions for you.
Okay.
The defense has to question her. There's a strong likelihood that you will hate this man, but I did see an interview with him after this was all said and done, and he didn't wanna do this, but he knew that if he did not do this correctly the first time, and there was any possibility for this not to get in because of something that he did, like not giving him the like not giving Michael the proper defense, not asking the correct questions, that he could have grounds for an appeal for not having, counsel that did their job. So just keep that in mind while you're watching the cross-examination. It sucks that he has to ask these questions, but he did his job so that this murderous a-hole does not have a chance for an appeal later, because there's no redo on this. They know that this is their one and only shot for her to get her story on record, because they know she's not going to make it. Do you see what I mean? So give him a little grace. That's all.
Ms. Malinowski, can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. My name is Bob Krapentz. I believe we've never met or talked before, correct?
Yes.
I've organized some questions, and I hope to keep it to the point pretty quick. But if I skip around a little bit, I apologize. I don't mean to. If you have any questions or you're not sure what I'm asking you, okay, please ask me to repeat it or rephrase it. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right. I want to start back with your initial relationship or your meeting of Mr. Slager, okay? I'm going to go back in history.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I would like to begin by your initial contact with Michael Slager. Okay?
Okay.
I believe that happened in 2007. Would that sound about right?
Yeah.
At that time, Michael had been injured in a car accident. You recall that?
I met him after that.
Right. And he was staying with a person named Melissa Pearsall. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And Melissa, how do you know Melissa?
She also has a child by my daughter's father.
Okay. Ron Malinowski, is that your husband?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. And Melissa has a child by him, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Are you still currently married to Ron?
Yes.
And at that time, in 2007, did you and Michael Slager become friends?
I guess we were all kind of got to click together, yeah.
Okay.
It was a group of us.
And then, after a number of months, I think you and Ron Malinowski had a falling out. Is that fair to say?
He cheated on me, yes.
And you found out about it?
Through Mike.
Through Mike, okay.
Yes.
And after that point, you two, your relationship developed into a more physical relationship. Is that fair to say?
Not really. Mike said that he had always had feelings for me and professed that he loved me, but he was also dating friends of mine, and I was also pregnant. So no, there was nothing really physical other than maybe some cuddling or hugging.
Okay. During the time, shortly after that, so we're clear, Michael Slager went to prison, did he not? Before he went to prison, you and Michael and this little clique, you were snorting Percocets and Oxycontins or oxycodones, correct?
Correct.
And was this before or after your ovarian cancer?
About the same time.
But you had indicated that you started on pain pills as a result of the medical procedure you had.
Yes.
It would be more accurate to say you were already involved in using illicit and illegal drugs?
It was definitely after that.
Okay. So before ovarian cancer?
It was after.
All right, fair enough. And then sometime in 2014, you reconnected with Mr. Slager, is that correct?
Yes. He sent me a message on Facebook.
Well, did you not send a message to Miss Amy Wicks through Facebook trying to reach out to Mr. Slager?
No, Mr. Slager reached out to me first.
Okay. All right. At that time, he was dating someone named Michelle Strasberry. Is that correct?
No, I did not talk to him. Michelle had already been deceased when I met up with Michael.
She had died from a heroin overdose. Was your understanding?
Yeah.
At that time, you were living up in New Albany. Is that right?
Yes, I was clean and I had my own apartment and I had my kids.
Okay. Were you employed at that time?
No, I was getting Social Security disability.
Okay. And the nature of your disability, if I may ask?
Well, my cancer and some other things.
Can I ask what the other things are?
Just some mental problems that I was battling from my past.
And was your income from Social Security disability sufficient to pay the rent and the food and everything at that apartment?
It covered the rent and a little bit of, or maybe a little bit of the utilities. My mom helps out with the rest.
In March of 2015. You okay?
I'm sorry.
Just okay. I'm going to move to March of 2015. Okay. Paramedics were called to your apartment, is that correct?
Yeah.
And was that a result of you having a bad reaction to some drugs that you had taken?
No, it was a result of Mike calling my mom, telling her that I wouldn't open the door for him, and he was afraid I was going to commit suicide. And I wasn't opening the door for him because we were fighting horrible. The minute I went on a first date with Michael, he never left my house after that, or my child.
Okay. So it's your testimony. I apologize, Ms. Malinowski. I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. So the paramedics did or did not treat you for what appeared to be an overdose of drugs at that time?
Objection.
Right. And it was Michael who called the paramedics, was it not?
Mike or my mom, one or the other.
Were you passed out at that time in the bathroom?
No.
All right. From March of 2000.
He made up trying to get into my house.
Okay. Did you use heroin after March of 2015?
Yeah, thanks to Mike. He's the one that got it for me the first time.
Okay. Did you start stealing money from Mike?
No.
Mike gave you money?
Mike bought it for me every day. He would bring home a gram of heroin.
My question is, you stole money from Mike, correct?
Objection. No, I didn't.
Did you steal property or money from your mother?
I would ask, yes.
And about this time, did your mom become aware of your heroin use?
Yes.
And did she cut you off financially?
Yes.
As a result, go ahead, I'm sorry.
She cut me off when she came over and found Mike in the house, which was before the drugs.
Huh? Did you start running the streets, doing some panhandling to get money for your heroin?
I said we need to give this guy some leeway. I understand, but the way he phrased that, it just gives me it gives me a bad feeling. It really does. Did you start running the streets? There's a better way to put that. I understand what he's going for, but there is a better way to put that for sure. It'd be nice if I could pause and it just goes back to
Every
playing.
now and then, yes.
Did you involve yourself in other illegal activities in order to get money other than panhandling? And this is a time when you were still actively using drugs. Is that fair to say? And when you use drugs, you do acts or you commit acts that are not in your nature normally. Is that fair?
Yes.
And you become loud and violent at times, yes?
I don't become violent. I've never had a violent nature.
And Michael called the police in May, I think May 29th of 2015 because of your behavior.
Right, and so did I. I called the police and told them that Michael was going to kill me and I needed help.
Okay, well, that
And
phone...
that's why I hadn't brought the car home.
Okay.
But the detective did nothing about it, so here I am.
I want to talk a little bit more. Did you ever take televisions that Michael provided and either pawn them or sell them for money for drugs?
One that was his that he bought to replace the TV of mine that he broke.
Okay. And where did you sell that?
I'm not sure. I think to a friend.
I want to talk a little bit about your physical condition back then. Okay, at the time that you were doing drugs, heroin, you were also doing crack cocaine, correct?
Yes, every now and then.
Were you active on Facebook at or about this time, June and July of 2015?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Hey, I'm sorry. Were you active on Facebook during this period of time of your multiple hospitalizations?
Sometimes, but sometimes not.
On Facebook?
On and off.
Okay. And on Facebook, did you refer to Michael Slager as your husband?
As my husband?
Yes.
I don't remember. Maybe in a joking manner I said, my hubby.
Certainly not in a mean-spirited way.
No.
In the summer of 2015, did you attempt to seek help for your drug addiction?
Yes.
And did Mr. Slager and your mom and you discuss going to either Parkside or some other place for rehabilitation?
And I was on my way to Parkside when all this happened. I went.
Miss Malinowski, I'm going to ask just kind of specific questions. I apologize for interrupting you. But I want to make sure that we're clear, and that's why I'm going to ask very, hopefully short questions, okay?
Go ahead.
Thank you. There was a time that Mr. Slager took you to Parkside, you did all the paperwork, and then you had to sit in the lobby for several hours. Is that right?
Yes.
Excuse me for one moment, Your Honor, ma'am.
Yes, you're right.
I'm reading it right here. Ms. Malinowski, I apologize. What I'm talking about is Talbot House, and I jumped to the next one. At Talbot House, did you attempt to go to rehab there?
Where?
Talbot House.
Yeah, I tried.
And after sitting there for half an hour, after doing all the paperwork, you up and ran out. Is that?
Him and I discussed it, and he said that he'd rather me just go to Cincinnati with him, and we would wean myself down, and he would let me some and take it with us, and he just would do a lower dose every day.
Okay, so he was with you at Talbot House trying to get you into rehab?
He was with me at Talbot, and he wanted me to go with him to Cincinnati. So he was waiting to see if I was going to go to Cincinnati or go to Talbot.
How did you get to Talbot House on that occasion?
He took me.
So even though he wanted you to go to Cincinnati, he took you to Talbot House, is that correct?
Yes.
He helped you fill out all the paperwork to get admitted?
I didn't fill out any paperwork.
You just sat there?
I gave them my name. They had my information from a while ago.
You're talking about the people at Talbot House. You gave them that information.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. But then you left.
So noted.
And at Talbot House, you were not allowed to smoke. Is that correct? You recall that?
Right.
Okay. And that's one of the reasons you decided not to go to Talbot House is because you weren't able to get to your cigarettes.
That's correct. And because I talked to Parkside, and they were going to take me anyway.
Okay.
In a couple of days. I just had to wait till the following week. And it's a longer program, and I can smoke there. And I had been there before, and I liked it. And I was successful until when I came back into the picture.
At this time, were you taking Suboxone?
At what time?
At the time that you had entered and then left Talbot House?
When I left Talbot Hall.
Right, Talbot House, excuse me. Yeah, were you taking Suboxone, let's call it the summer of 2015?
At one point in time, yes.
Was that prescribed to you?
Yes.
And can I ask who prescribed it?
Dr. Valentine.
And were you able to afford that prescription?
I'm sorry?
Were you able to afford that prescription of Suboxone?
It was very expensive. We could get some. Sometimes I could afford the whole thing.
Ms. Malinowski, Michael Slager worked at the construction industry, correct?
Yes.
And he had a job that was waiting for him down in Dayton. Do you recall that?
No.
And he took, let me ask you this, he had a crew of people working for him, did he not?
I wouldn't call one person a crew.
So you're indicating he had one person working for him, not 10 or 12 people working for him?
That's correct. He had a guy that he was partnered with, and then a Mexican that he treated horrible and paid way under minimum wage.
Did you go with Mr. Slager to a job site that was outside of the Columbus area?
Yes, one down in Cincinnati.
Okay, you believe that was in Cincinnati?
Yes.
And you would stay with him for 2 or 3 days at a time and then come back to Columbus?
Yes.
Okay. Sometime in July of 2015, did Mr. Slager find you at a hotel room on Bryce Road?
I don't believe that was July. That was in June.
Okay.
And yes, he did.
That was a result of you running away for 5 or 6 days and having no contact with any family or Michael or anybody, right?
Right. Well, as soon as I had contact
from him. Over and over and over again, she tried to get away from this man, and he tracked her down, and he found her every time.
family, they told him where I was.
And the reason...
And he had been hitting me, beating me, and was horrible. I was trying to get away from him, and I couldn't.
This is before you went down to Cincinnati with him for multiple days at a time, correct?
No, that's after.
Okay, all right, so we're clear. And in that hotel room, you were shooting up dope, correct?
I'm sorry?
Shooting up dope in that hotel room on Bryce Road?
Not the whole time, no.
Does he have to word it like just his choice of words is really bugging me. It's really bothering me. Shooting up dope. He's a dope for wording it like that.
Your continued drug use over the period of that summer, did that affect you physically?
Yes.
When you get addicted and then you try to stop, you get what's called dope sick. Is that fair?
That's correct.
It messes with your whole system. You start vomiting and diarrhea, dehydration.
That's correct.
It also messes with or affects your ability to think clearly. Is that fair to say?
I think you can still think.
Right, but your thought process has changed somewhat. You start doing things you otherwise wouldn't do to avoid that being dope sick.
Okay.
Michael never did heroin, to your knowledge, did he?
No.
At some point, your mother refused to renew the lease in your apartment. Isn't that true?
Yes.
That was a result of the fact that you were still doing drugs, despite the fact that she didn't want you to do drugs. She knew about your drug use. Is that true?
Yes.
You had tried to hide it from her for some period of time, but she found out.
Yes.
She essentially cut you off again and said, I'm not going to renew your lease. You're going to get inpatient treatment, right?
Yes.
And what happened to all your furniture and property in your apartment?
Into what?
All the stuff in your apartment.
Well, first off, everything in my apartment belonged to me, and it was all put in the storage unit.
Who put it in the storage? It's Michael. Michael put it.
Go ahead.
I apologize. I just want to be clear. Michael's the one that put this stuff in the storage unit, correct?
That's correct. I can hear him to say that.
And that was at the request of you and your mom.
Not me, but my mom.
Your mom asked Mr. Slager to assist you in moving your things out. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but I wouldn't come near Michael at that time. I was trying to avoid him at all costs.
Okay, well, let me ask you about that. On August 1st, this would be the night before August 2nd, okay? You and Mr. Slager got into an argument about your drug use, the amount of money he was spending on you so you didn't get dope sick, things along that line, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. You have a mutual friend named Andy, do you not?
Yes.
And you texted Andy on August the 1st saying that you did not want Mr. Slager to leave you and that you loved him. Isn't that true?
No.
So if that text, or if Andy testifies to that text, or we produce that text, that's a lie. Is that correct?
I do not believe that I sent that text in August to Andy. I had asked Andy not to tell Mike where I was.
So are you saying I never texted Andy saying I love Michael Slager and I don't want him to leave me?
Not at the end of our relationship, no.
When is it you believe you sent that text?
I mean, I probably said that I love Michael, Lots of times, but
When would be the most recent time before August 1st that you would have sent that text?
I don't know. I don't believe I ever sent a text saying that I don't want him to leave me. Because I never thought he would leave. I wanted him to leave. I was definitely, he used me for a place to live and that's somebody to take out his whatever on and for,
I apologize for interrupting.
you know,
Ms.
financially.
I'd like to ask you some questions about August 2nd, the date of this offense, okay?
Okay.
You found out that there was a bed available for you at Parkside that day, is that correct?
Yes.
And you were staying at the La Quinta Hotel, I think, on Bryce Road at that time?
That might be, I'm not sure which hotel we were at.
You stayed at several different hotels once you could not go back to your apartment.
That's correct.
And you called Michael to say there's a bed available at Parkside.
Yes.
And he came and picked you up, correct?
He was with me.
Okay. So your recollection is he was actually with you when you found out that there was a bed available?
Yes.
He took you to Walmart. Yes?
No.
Bought you some makeup, some hygiene products, things like that?
No.
Did he take you to Burlington Coat Factory to get some clothes?
No.
Did he take you to a thrift store to find the stretchy pants that you were looking for?
Not that day, no.
You had said on direct examination you went to several places. First,
what?
When Mr. Edwards was questioning you, you said you went several places before you went to Parkside. Where did you go?
I went to the thrift store. There I did go. But I had to steal half my clothes. And he went by his mom's, and I got out of the truck and started walking because his whole family hates me. And that's when our fight started. His mom lives right down the street from that speedway.
Ma'am, I'm just trying to figure out what happened that morning of August 2nd, okay?
Okay.
So he left you after you found out there was a bed for Parkside. He left you, correct?
He took me to Parkside.
But you said you went other places first. I'm trying to find out where you went.
We went to the thrift store. We drove around. We went and met my dope boy.
You picked up dope on your trip to Parkside?
Yes.
And in fact,
he went in and got it for me.
Michael dropped you off at Parkside, correct?
Yes.
And he drove away.
I didn't want to go yet until I had met with my mom and kids. And my mom had packed me a bag of clothes and hygiene products.
Just so I understand the kind of the order of what happened, okay, Ms. Malinowski? He dropped you off at Parkside and he drove away, correct?
He didn't drive away. He turned on the next street and turned around.
Okay. He left the parking lot and then turned around and came back into the parking lot. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. And at that point, you were leaving Parkside.
I never went in.
Okay. You pretended like you were going in, and then when he left the parking lot, you...
And like I was going in. I stood there and smoked a cigarette.
So you had a cigarette at that point.
I bummed one off with somebody that was outside smoking.
There's somebody else outside smoking, and you bummed a cigarette from them.
Yeah.
And then you started leaving the facility with the purpose of purchasing cigarettes? Or just
And
because...
Mike pulled back, Mike pulled back around.
What was your purpose of leaving, Ms. Malinowski? I apologize. Why were you leaving Parkside?
To go eat with my mom.
Okay, so you wasn't about the cigarettes.
No, but I was going to get cigarettes too. My mom would have bought them.
Okay.
Mr. Cravens, can you give her a second to take a drink?
Yeah, of course. Take your time.
Do you need to take a drink, ma'am? Thank you. Go right ahead.
Okay, thank you. You got back in his truck, correct?
Yes.
And then you went to the Speedway.
Yes.
And when he went, and the reason is, at Parkside, you're not allowed to bring in open packets of cigarettes, are you?
That's correct.
They've got to be sealed and closed to make sure that you haven't hidden things like crack pipes or whatever inside those packs.
That's correct.
So you needed brand new packs of cigarettes, otherwise they wouldn't let you have any cigarettes in.
Yes.
And the idea of stopping at Speedway was so that he can get a pack for himself and a pack for you. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And you both smoked the Marlboro Black 100s?
Yes, but he smokes menthol and I smoke none.
I see. And when you don't get menthol, are you I hate to say brand loyal, but is it menthol or nothing, or menthol or whatever I have?
What?
You only smoke menthol, or on occasion do you smoke non-menthol cigarettes?
No, I don't smoke menthol at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry, Ms. Malinsky. I confused it. Okay. If there's nothing to smoke or menthol, are you going to choose nothing or menthol?
After a period of time, I might break down and smoke a menthol cigarette or a couple of hits of it.
You got out of the truck at the Speedway and you went behind the building, is that correct?
That's correct.
And Michael found you there and you were getting ready to shoot up some dope. Is that fair?
No, he wasn't.
Had you already done the dope that you say you bought that morning?
Yes.
And where did you do that?
He took me to a bathroom somewhere and I did there.
Where?
I don't know, I'm sure it was a fast food restaurant or something.
So at this time, when everything happens, you're high on what?
What?
What kind of dope did you do?
I did heroin.
Why use the word dope? Why not just say, what kind of drugs did you consume that day? There's a way to ask these questions to not sound like such a dick, right? Like, why not say what type of drugs did you consume that day? I'm not a lawyer and I could word these questions better. All I'm saying is it makes the lawyer sound like an a-hole.
You also had perks that day, did you not?
Perks. He says perks. You also had perks that day. Like, what are you doing, dude? As if he doesn't know the name of the medication he's talking about.
Percocets.
I don't think so.
What about crack cocaine that day?
I didn't have any crack cocaine. I had no crack cocaine.
He's not going to say rocks or crack rocks? Like, come on.
All right. Okay. I don't mean to embarrass you, but I want to talk about an incident in which you lost some hair off of your head prior to August the 2nd. You know what I'm talking about?
Go ahead and remind me.
Sure. Did you have some kind of extensions or something that you wore on your head in place of hair? And explain exactly, if you can, what those extensions are for and what they're made of.
They're made of real hair and they're for to make your hair look thicker and longer and stuff like that.
Okay. And it's your understanding they're made of real hair? And they're just kind of twisted into your existing hair, or how are they applied?
They can be braided and sewn in, or they can be and I had mine done both ways, along with glue.
Glue?
Yes.
Did you have to apply this hair because of an injury or some kind of trauma that you had to your existing hair?
Well, I had Mike's partner's wife use this glue on my hair to put the extensions in.
Ma'am, and I apologize for interrupting, Ms. Malinowski. Why did you have to have this done at all?
I had tiny bald spots from a previous relationship.
Is it not true that you burned your hair while doing crack cocaine?
Every now and then I would singe it in the lighter, some of it, but never burnt the scalp, ever.
Can you tell us what you were wearing that morning of August the 2nd?
I don't remember.
You remember getting dressed that morning?
No, I don't.
Don't remember where you went to do drugs, but you knew it was a bathroom of some kind, correct?
I've been through so much, sir, unfortunately. I don't remember a lot of things, but I wish I would.
It'd be fair to say that the trauma you've suffered has affected your memory?
Yes.
Say that it has affected your ability to recall events accurately.
I'm very glad.
Would you agree that because of the trauma that you have suffered, your ability to recall events accurately has been compromised?
My ability to what?
Recall events. Remember things.
I can recall the events, but the many details of them is what's hard for me to recall. You have to understand, on August 2nd, I was set on fire, thrown on the ground, and burnt to 95% of my body.
I understand. What I'm trying to get to is
to try to keep track of everything that happened in this horrible relationship.
I appreciate that. Ma'am, I'm going to ask some specific questions about that then, okay? And I'll try to keep them to yes.
He cut her off. This woman. Okay, first of all, I'm going to ask you guys a question in the chat, and I want you to answer me. There's 23 of you here right now. Think about a time, like let's say you had a car accident, a fender bender, something not anything major, right? Just a fender bender, but it was something that happened that would be at the forefront of your memory. I got rear-ended one time. And I recall 100% of what happened when I got rear-ended. I recall where I was going to, where I was coming from. I recall where it happened. I don't remember what I was wearing that day. I don't remember if I used the master bathroom or the hallway bathroom to take a shower that morning. I don't remember. It was on my lunch break at work. I don't remember what I was working on before I went to lunch. I don't remember any of that stuff. Do you? Do you remember? Think about something that happened that is a memorable thing that you remember every detail of, whether it's a traumatic thing or a great thing. Think about the day your first child was born. Do you remember getting dressed that morning? Do you remember if you brushed your teeth before you showered or after you showered? He's acting as if her not being able to recall the little minute details of things other than being lit on fire is going to question her memory of her being lit on fire because she can't recall what she was wearing that day. It's ridiculous. This line of questioning is ridiculous, and she, the strong person that she is, amazingly strong person that she is says, no, I have trouble remembering. I have trouble remembering. I don't remember what I ate for breakfast that morning, sir, but I remember him lighting me on fire, and he cuts her off. He cut her off. This is not the judge questioning. This is the defense attorney, I believe. I paused it for too long. Going through any kind of trauma will cause memory loss. Your body is trying to repair you so much that you will forget things. I understand that you forget things, but I think questioning what she ate for breakfast that morning, or whatever the dumb question is that he said, is irrelevant whether
No
she can
questions
remember
if
that
it
or
makes
not.
it easier.
It's really irrelevant.
I've been through so much, sir, unfortunately. I don't remember a lot of things, but I wish I would.
It'd be fair to say that the trauma you've suffered has affected your memory?
Yes.
Say that it has affected your ability to recall events accurately.
I'm sorry, regret that.
Would you agree that because of the trauma that you have suffered, your ability to recall events accurately has been compromised?
My ability to what?
Recall events. Remember things.
I can recall the events, but the many details of them is what's hard for me to recall. You have to understand, on August 2nd, I was set on fire, thrown on the ground, and burnt to 95% of my body.
I understand. What I'm trying to get to
Really
is...
hard for me to try to keep track of everything that happened in this horrible relationship.
I appreciate that. Ma'am, I'm going to ask some specific questions about that then, okay? And I'll try to keep them to yes/no questions if it makes it easier. In preparation for your testimony today, have you met with somebody from the prosecutor's office?
I haven't met with anybody from the prosecutor's office in preparation for today. Today, no.
I don't mean meet today, Ms. Malinowski. I mean in the past. Has anybody reviewed with you your testimony?
No, they just told me that what the testimony is about and what I need, that why we're doing it, and that's about it.
Let me ask this. You were shown some pictures today during the direct examination.
Yes.
Had you seen those pictures before?
I've seen the pictures of myself many a times. I never seen that picture of Mike before now. I never seen that picture of the cigarette pack today. But I mean, the pictures of me and my girls, yeah, the picture of me in my senior year, yes, I've seen all those pictures.
Okay. Did you talk with members of the police department at the hospital immediately after this event?
I think they woke me up long enough to ask me who did this to me, and I said Michael Slager.
So that's your memory of the conversation that you had, or is that something somebody told you?
That's the memory of what I remember.
Okay. So your memory is that they woke you up, they asked you who did this to you, and you said Michael Slager.
Yes, and I was in extremely a lot of pain, and they put me back to sleep.
Understand. Would you say that your memory of that conversation is as accurate as your memory of the whole event?
I mean, for the most part, yeah.
You were given some medication relatively quickly at your hospital stay. Are you aware of that? Did you know that? Did somebody tell you? Or
I'm sure that I would have had to be.
but you don't have an independent memory of that yourself. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Do you recall wearing a hoodie that day?
A hoodie?
Hoodie. Yeah, hoodie.
I would wear a hoodie a lot of times.
You recall that you wore one on August 2nd?
I don't remember if I had a hoodie on or not.
Talked about an argument that you and Michael had on the way to the Speedway, correct?
What about it?
You mentioned you had an argument. I'm just trying to give you a starting point for my next few questions, okay? And at some point, you either threw a pop or spilled a pop on him, correct?
That was after he went into the gas station, and I had ran behind the gas station, and he had insisted that I get in his truck, and he was very upset. And I know when he's angry like that I'm going to get hurt.
Ms. Malinowski, I apologize for interrupting. My question is, did you pour something or throw something on him? That's my only question.
When I went, after we had went behind the building,
Okay.
and was yelling at me, yes, I threw a pop at it.
Ms. Malinowski?
Yes.
And I apologize again. I'm just trying to make this as simple and clear as possible. So if I ask if something happened, I'm not asking when, I'm just, please answer yes, it happened, or no, it didn't, so my notes are clear. Now, you threw a pop on him of some kind, correct? Or something like that. Is that fair to say?
I threw a pop on him, yes.
Okay, all right, all right. And were you standing or seated in the truck? Where were you when this happened?
I was standing in the grass.
And where was Michael?
Standing probably 5 feet in front of me.
So he was
on the blacktop.
So he was not in his truck at the time.
No.
And the pop didn't get all over the front seat of his truck or anything like that, correct?
No.
And then once he did that, or once, I apologize, once you splashed him, it's your testimony, then he immediately grabbed a container that contained some gas from the back of his truck. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And he proceeded to douse you starting, I think you said, from the head on down. Is that
That's
right?
correct.
And you stayed there. You just stood there, or were you laying there? Or tell me what your position was.
I went from sitting to laying really fast, and
So would you, and I apologize for interrupting, just so I'm clear. So the very moment he was pouring gas on you, you had already sat down. Is that fair?
I had tripped.
So, okay.
He says, "Oh, you had sat down," like as if she. We watched the video. We'll watch it again when this is done, but she did not sit down. It looks like, and it's hard to tell because, like I said, it's filmed on a potato, but it looks like he pushes her. If not pushed her, she trips over something and falls down. She doesn't sit down. Zena's throwing her ball at me. Here, Zena. Oh, okay. There we go. We're almost done with this, guys. Thank you for being here with me to listen to all of her testimony. I don't want her to be silenced again. I want to hear everything that she has to say. This lawyer apparently doesn't. This lawyer keeps trying to shut her up.
I apologize, but you were on the ground before gas ever touched you, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And you never stood back up from that grass or that ground again, correct? When he walked away from you for the 30 seconds that you remember?
Everything happened too fast. No, I didn't.
Here's
I think I'm having an issue with my shoes.
Here's my question, and I apologize. When he walked away for the 30 seconds that you testified about, you didn't walk anywhere. You just sat in one spot. Is that your recollection?
Yes, I was trying to gather up my stuff, and I had an issue with my shoes. I was going to change.
In fact, when this gasoline got on your top garment, which I believe to be a hoodie. Do you recall that you took that off, took the hoodie off?
I took the hoodie off.
Well, I'm asking if you remember that.
No, I don't.
Okay. And where was your backpack at the time, your pack of belongings?
It was down behind me.
Okay. You said about 30 seconds passed and then he came back. Was that true?
Yes.
And at that point, did you try to run anywhere?
After he came back.
As he was approaching you?
No, I wanted to get the gasoline off me. I said I would get in the truck. I told him, why would you do this? And
Ms. Malinowski, when you were trying to get the gasoline off you, how did you attempt to get the gasoline off of you? Did you remove articles of clothing? Did you wipe your face? What did you do to get the gas off of you?
I think I did remove my, my jacket or something.
Okay.
And I remember just looking at him and he was arguing with me. And then it happened so quick, you don't understand how quick 30 seconds is. Okay. When you're in a moment like that.
Okay. And let me just ask a couple quick questions. I'm almost done, okay? You all right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're doing great. You saw him walking toward you, and I think you said he had evil on his face at that time, correct?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you saw him walking toward you, right?
Yes.
With an evil look.
Yes.
And you did not get up and run away, correct?
I couldn't. I remember there was a problem with my foot or my shoe.
Huh?
There was a problem with my foot or my shoe. I remember that.
All right. As far as the lighter was in Mr. Slager's pocket, is that correct?
I'm sorry?
The lighter that you testified to. You said he pulled it from his pocket. Yes?
I thought that he got it out of the truck, but maybe he got it out of his pocket.
Is it fair to say that your memory about that isn't clear?
Yes.
In fact, I think you said you thought it was a Zippo.
He turned around.
My question is, did you say you thought it was a Zippo?
I don't think it was.
Did you ever say to somebody that you thought it
Numbers
was?
of the lighter is very unclear.
Okay, fair enough. Ma'am, just a moment.
Yes, go right ahead.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Just a minute, ma'am. We're figuring out whether there's additional questions to be asked.
She's like, are we done? Can I get some painkillers now? Because remember, she had to wean herself off of painkillers to be of sound mind to testify or to do this deposition.
Right,
Otherwise, it would not be
Ms.
admissible.
Malinowski, I appreciate your patience. I don't have any further questions for you. Thank you.
Let's get a little redirect.
Thank you.
Nope, no redirect. That's it. Thank you all for sitting through that with me. I needed to see every moment of her testimony. I did not want her to be silenced again. Absolutely not. All right, so you all saw what happened there. You cannot say that he did not have a fair or a reasonable counsel in this situation. Michael's attorney made it seem Like he believed that he was innocent. He believed it was an accident. We find out later in the documentary that I watched, they interviewed this lawyer, and he did not believe. He just wanted to make sure that it was a fair trial. So there's no reason to have any kind of appeal when he's found guilty. As we know now, he was found guilty. Well, he pled guilty. They played the whole thing that we just watched before his sentencing. So it was played in open court. Thank goodness, right? I'm going to pull up new tabs. I got a couple of more things. We're almost done. We are almost done, but there's some stuff that I need to let you know about. First of all, Judy's medical bills. Judy's medical bills were over $1 million from this. And there is a program in Ohio that helps victims with medical bills. So there's some sort of system set up to where if you're a victim of a crime and you can't afford your medical bills, the state will help you with those medical bills. Judy's mom applied to help with the medical bills because Judy is a victim. We all saw her get set on fire a minute ago. The state came back and said because she had an illegal narcotic in her system, she's automatically disqualified from victims' assistance. She got no help with the medical bills at all. They said, nope, your daughter was on drugs, even though she was on her way to rehab, even though the drugs didn't have anything to do with this crime. It wasn't like they were in the middle of, a big cocaine buy and got shot or something like that. None of that happened. The crime didn't have anything to do with the drugs. Yet, no help for her. Thank goodness that the judge did let that evidence in, because I don't think he would have pled guilty otherwise. I don't think he would have. Judy spent the 2 years of her life from the time that this happened, less than 2 years because she was in a coma for 8 months. But the time that she was awake and coherent and all of that, she spent her time advocating for victims of domestic violence. She got laws passed to where it will make it more, he got 11 years. If she had survived, he would have only served 11 years for this crime, which is a little crazy. That's not enough time, in my opinion. I'm trying to do two things at once, and I'm blonde, so I don't know why it's not. I'm clicking. Why is it not doing it? There we go. So she got laws passed to where if the person, the domestic abuser, purposely disfigures the victim, extra time can be added, which is great. That's what he did. He purposely disfigured her. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's really no denying that. She was permanently disfigured, even if she had survived. Him asking about the hair extensions, too. How about that part? I should have paused it and talked during that part, but geez.
Domestic violence, talking about the unintended victim.
When Judy Malowinski's ex-boyfriend doused her with gasoline and set her on fire, she couldn't raise her children anymore. Tonight, you'll meet her children and how they live now with their grandmother.
NBC4's Katie Farrell has more about their life and the struggles living now without their mother.
12-year-old Kaylee and 9-year-old Maddie are two of the sweetest children you will ever meet. Their world was turned upside down on August 2nd, 2015. All they want is for things to be like they used to be.
I love her.
I love her and
we miss her.
The best mom I could ever have.
She's the dream mom.
12-year-old Kaylin Malinowski and her sister, 9-year-old Madison, haven't seen their mom outside of the hospital in 18 months.
I wish that she could be home.
On that fateful day in August 2015, their lives changed forever after they learned their mom had been set on fire.
I'd wish this wouldn't have even happened.
I wish that if I could just rewind, I would
chain her up in the basement so she couldn't get out.
What's your favorite state? Let's turn to your favorite state.
Now living with their grandma, the rules have changed.
Grandma and grandpa are like really strict now that this has happened because like you can't trust anybody.
We'll put these away.
Bonnie also has a young son. Raising 3 kids for the past 580 days has been a struggle.
Oh, I'm past tired, Katie. It's, oh my God, I don't know how everything that you plan, like, when you get to my age and you're close to retirement and you plan different things, suddenly all bets are off.
The man responsible for putting Judy here stole more than just her future.
To your point of domestic violence, it takes away lives, it takes away careers, it makes families could be dysfunctional, it changes kids' lives inside out and upside down.
Bonnie's tried to bring the laughter back into this house to help these kids who've seen so much just be kids. Kids who still see their mom as just mom.
I don't see the burns, I just see her. Like I see the pictures of her before and then now, and I don't see any difference.
Domestic violence is an awful crime that destroys entire families. We've helped set up a special bank account for Judy to help. Just go to any Huntington Bank branch and donate to help Judy and her kids. Bonnie says her medical bills are in the millions. And Judy loves cards. Send them here and we will make sure she gets them. This information's on our website, NBC4i.com. Katie Farrell, NBC4.
Thanks, Katie Farrell. I appreciate that report. I don't know why it does that every time. It just started doing that when there was an update too, where it makes not me, somebody else or something else large. Not sure why. Not sure why it does that, but we'll just live with it. We'll learn to cope. We cope hard over here. Mainly just coping over the awful stories that I'm telling you guys. Awful stories. But this one does, I always look for the lining, the silver lining on things. And here's the silver lining in this case. There's always a silver lining. This is I'm reading to you from the Ohio House of Representatives website. Columbus, State Representative Jim Hughes of Upper Arlington today introduced legislation that was inspired by a Gahanna woman who was doused in gasoline and set on fire in August of 2015 by her ex-boyfriend. Judy Malinowski, whose ex-boyfriend doused her. I have to start over. I missed a whole dang paragraph. Take 2. State Representative Jim Hughes of Upper Arlington today introduced legislation that was inspired by a Gahanna woman who was doused in gasoline and set on fire in August of 2015 by her ex-boyfriend. House Bill 63 would allow judges to enhance sentences for defendants whose victims are permanently maimed or disfigured by adding a new sliding scale specification that would narrowly apply to felonious assault in the event that a victim has suffered serious physical harm. Judy Malinowski, whose ex-boyfriend doused her with gasoline and set her on fire 18 months ago, is currently still fighting for her life at a Columbus area hospital. Malinowski's ex-boyfriend was given the maximum sentence of only 11 years. Judy's attacker gave her a life sentence and received only 11 years in prison. Her story makes it clear that there is need for a change in Ohio law, said Representative Hughes. Despite her condition, Malinowski continues to speak out about domestic violence and has made every effort to warn other victims. House Bill 63 will soon be referred to a House Standing Committee. House Bill 63 will soon be referred to a House Standing Committee where it will be discussed further. So this law did pass since then. Unfortunately, Judy passed away before she could see this bill take effect. I'd like to know what you guys think. I'll put, you know what? I have about 20 minutes. I'll put the link in the chat if anybody wants to pop up and talk about this case just for a couple of minutes. I'd love to have you. Well, you're thinking about if you want to do that or not, I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I have an actual job too. This is just my hobby. My coworkers know what my hobby is. And at work on Fridays, one of my friends at work always comes into my office and says, "Hey, what are you going to talk about this weekend?" And I was telling her about this story, about Judy's story, about, her changing laws. I like covering these stories where people try to make a difference. And Judy definitely did that. And she told me that, this is my friend at work, told me that she knew somebody who set themselves on fire. And I was just like, how often does this happen? That's crazy, But she was telling me about, I wrote the name down here, Vernetta Cockerham, who was a woman that she went to church with. My friend went to church with when she lived in a different state. And this woman's boyfriend, whose name was Richard Ellerby, was abusive, just like Judy's boyfriend Michael was. And ended up, you know what? I'm not going to tell you the whole story. I'll give you the short version of it. Maybe I will do a little deep dive into this and tell you the whole story next week. How about that? Deal? We'll shake on it. Deal. I'll tell you the whole story next week. But long story short, Vernetta was a victim of domestic violence as well. And her boyfriend wanted to end his life. The abuser wanted to end his life and set himself on fire. So kind of opposite of what happened in Judy's case. However, I thought it was interesting that my friend at work just happened to know somebody who set themselves on fire. I didn't think it happened that often, So it doesn't look like anybody wants to jump up here. So we're going to end it. That's it. That's the show, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the rough start. We're going to figure it out. Here's the issue is everything seems to work fine when I have my computer guy helping me out with stuff. But then as soon as I go live, I think maybe the Restream or whatever I'm using to go live with is using up so much power that it, I don't know. Let's see. You guys got to hang out for 1 second because I want to run an internet speed test while I'm streaming to see. Let's see what it says. Well, we're live, so everything's running that's going to run. I don't think it's my internet. I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's my internet because I got 827 MIGBIBs down and 732 MIGBIBs up. So that's pretty fast internet. People in the chat, let me know who knows about internet. That's good, right? I pay a lot of money for my internet. I pay for the best internet there is. Thanks to people like you who support the show, I'm able to pay for the best internet. Thank you once again so much, Waffle Salter, for the very generous donation, and everybody else who threw a little nickel here and there my way. I appreciate you as well. Ron, Quest, all of you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah, so let me know, is that good internet speeds? And also when I'm streaming, I'm using the upload one, right? I think so. I don't know how the computer works. I don't know. I appreciate each and every one of you. So a little change coming up next week. So I'm going to be out of town next weekend. I am going to Knoxville, Tennessee, to watch my niece graduate college. She's graduating from the University of Tennessee, and I am so proud of her. She's awesome. She's going to get her doctorate next year. I told her I cannot call her doctor, her first name, because it's weird because she's my little baby niece, right? Anyway, so I will be gone on Sunday the 19th. I will still try to hit the live button from wherever I am. I don't know what the plan is, but wherever I am at 4:30 on Sunday, I will hit the live button. Be there. I don't know where we're going to be. I don't know what we're going to be doing, but if I have internet, I told you guys, I will always be here for you at 4:30 Eastern on Sunday. So I will be here for you, even if it's just for a half an hour, right? Tuesday, which is the 14th. So in 2 days from now, I got a lot of work to do in the next 2 days because I'm not going to have a normal show on the 19th. On Tuesday, the 14th, I'm going to be talking with Shane Quiros, which, as you guys know, that's North Georgia Audits. He's going to come back here. I mean, he's not coming here, but he's going to be here on the show to talk about Samuel Little. Have you guys heard of Samuel Little? The FBI, in their report, says that Samuel Little is the most prolific serial killer in U.S. history. I didn't know who he was. I knew kind of vaguely who he was, but this guy has killed more people than John Wayne Gacy, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer combined. He's got more victims than all three of those guys. You're going to hear all about it on Tuesday, the 14th. I'm thinking 8 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. You'll see when I schedule the stream. We haven't nailed down a time yet. I'm still getting used to this Tuesday show thing. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see you all there. Hopefully you let people know if you see people in other chats or whatever that like true crime, let them know it's going to be Tuesday because it's a big endeavor to cover somebody who has 93 victims. It's been a lot of work. So get an audience in here for me and for Shane. Shane's a good guy. I know he's on the opposite side of what a lot of you people are on. And by you people, I'm talking to you. But he seems like a good guy. So I think it will be a good show. Have a good night, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day. I see Yo Mama just popped in the chat. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I'll call you later. I love you. I love you all. Have a good night.
I can't understand what you're saying. We're late stage in the catacombs. Shuffling a single card today. Broken table trying to play some ping pong. It's not subtle when we celebrate a magazine with the pages torn. My body cracks, knees buckling. I got a bad case of brain fog. and burn.